The news reaching to me right now is saying game over as new court ruling let ICE detain without letting go. Hmm. Wow, a lot is happening right now. Let's delve into it.
Tonight from Republicans, the House just passed a bill requiring automatic deportation of illegals who commit welfare fraud. House Speaker Mike Johnson is now here with more. That's a good start. The SAVE Act is now in the Senate. I'm cautiously optimistic and hopeful, but I'm concerned. I don't know if it's going to get over, past that hurdle in the Senate. Your thoughts?
Well, we certainly encourage all senators to do the right thing and do what the American people demand and deserve. Well, we certainly encourage all senators to do the right thing and do what the American people demand and deserve. The Republican senators are working hard to pass the Save America Act. Of course, we passed it out of the House 3 times, the SAVE Act twice, and now the Save America Act. Sean, very simply, you're talking about requiring proof of citizenship to register to vote and a photo ID when you show up to do that. Those are 90-10 issues in the country, and 70% of Democrats say that that is a common sense regulation and restriction on voting. And they won't do it. The Democrats in the Senate will not do it. And now you see this latest gambit. The House Democrats, Senate Democrats have joined together. The same group that gave us wide open borders and defunding the police, Sean, they're at it again. They are refusing to reopen TSA and FEMA for the American people unless they can also reopen the borders for illegal aliens. That's exactly what's at stake.
On this vote, the yeas are 231, the nays are 186. The bill is passed. Without objection, a motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
House has just approved a deportation bill for anybody that is convicted of fraud. They want you out of the country. Take a look. Here's the news crossing. You can see this one went through. Republicans.
On this vote, the yeas are 231, the nays are 186. The bill is passed. Without objection, a motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
Okay, all right. Here it is. Deportation bill for fraud. Basically, if you benefited from SNAP, Social Security illegally, that's going to trigger deportation for you. If you re-enter the country after your conviction, you were barred. You were barred absolutely for good. I mean, I thought you would have been, but, under Biden, anything goes, right, under him. The whole goal here is to protect U.S. taxpayers. It applies to people that are not citizens of this country. So if you have committed fraud and you are a non-citizen, bye-bye, sayonara, see you later. That was just passed. So that should go a long way towards helping in some of the Minnesota stuff. There's something else I'm going to get to in a moment, the catch and release stuff with the 8th Circuit Court having approved that today. So that's basically, again, another thing that's going to affect Minnesota. They're going to be able to work to get some of these fraudsters out, but it's not necessarily going far enough for some people because you are seeing still a movement in both the House and in the Senate to take it even further. I want to go back to Representative Emmer, who's championing a bill called the Scam Act. He doesn't just want to deport, he wants to make sure there's denaturalization. So he wants to take this a step further. This particular bill that was just passed only applies to non-citizens. What Emmer would like to see, as well as Blackburn in the Senate, they want something that actually would strip people of their citizenship if they are found to have committed fraud after becoming U.S. citizens. He explains it.
We're expanding and clarifying existing law to include anyone who comes to this country and defrauds the generosity of Americans and our government. And in this case, the Feeding Our Future scandal is one of the many in Minnesota, but that's the largest pandemic fraud case in the country. It was $250 million. Over 90 people were charged, and 85 of them are from the Somali community. If you come to this country, and I understand that in Somalia, you got to lie, cheat, and steal just to survive. But if you come to this country and you continue to lie, cheat, and steal, you should not be allowed to maintain your citizenship. You should be denaturalized and shipped back to where you came from. And by the way, that would include marriage fraud.
Woo! A little bit of a zinger there at the end. The allegation there. Well, you've heard it multiple times, including from the president most recently in the Oval Office when he was talking about launching this entire effort to get rid of fraudsters and to discover the fraud. J.D. Vance, as you know, leading that program. Miller's involved too. But listen, the president said, hey, you know, I think she married her brother, right? Like, like that in and of itself, that actually will. You don't even need a bill for that, guys. If that were the case and there was marriage fraud, boom, presto, you're done. And it doesn't even have to be the brother, believe it or not. It just would have to be fraud in and of itself. So this was not a real marriage. And I'm kind of wondering, it doesn't seem like it was a real marriage, right? Didn't he move shortly after marrying her? And didn't she actually go back with the other guy and have like another kid, the first Ahmed, during the alleged marriage to the second one? So I imagine that you could find something there. It is our understanding, we have confirmed via the DOJ that they are investigating her marriage as we speak. So I know it's painful and we're like, okay, when are we going to get something? I know it's hard, but look, they're working on it, and they at least got this whole thing on fraud deportation through today. I want to go back to Emmer. By the way, he's also from Minnesota, right? So he's like the Republican from Minnesota who's looking at this going, gee, talking about putting Minnesota on the map in a really horrible, infamous way. $19 billion later with a bunch of Somalis that ran a giant fraudster ring.
Fraud, fraud, and more fraud. It seems like every day there's a new discovery of stolen taxpayer dollars in my home state of Minnesota. And who is smack dab in the middle of it? The self-acknowledged liar, incompetent, failed governor, and failed vice presidential candidate Tim Walz. But with the world now watching, Walz can no longer hide from accountability. I want to thank...
Walz is no longer going to be running for governor because, yeah, it doesn't really look good. I mean, when you're the guy running the show and there's that much fraud, you know who else it doesn't look good for? I saw you guys talking about Gavin Newsom. And Gavin Newsom, by the way, petty little guy that he is, starts attacking Nick Shirley. It's like Nick's actually exposing this, right? In your state, wouldn't you be kind of happy? Like, don't you want to get rid of the fraud? You guys have a budget disaster out there in California. Maybe you'd actually want to find some of this fraud. But nope, because it makes him look bad. Of course it makes him look bad. Just like it makes Timmy Walz look bad. Just like it makes Ilhan Omar not only look bad, but possibly, when it comes to her, she runs the risk of looking connected.
Welcome back. Now let's talk about what's happening in the court ruling, or what the court ruling is saying. A major court ruling is fueling debates across the country after judges sided with the government on immigration detention powers. Immigration and Custom Enforcement, aka ICE, may now, in some cases, hold certain detainees without bond hearings. A move supporters say enforces the law, while critics warn it raises serious concern to due process and other activities around it. This isn't just policy, it is shift that could impact thousands of lives. So the real question is, what does this ruling actually change? And who does it affect the most? Original credit to creators whose video will be used for this illustration and example. The court's decisions like this don't just stay in the courtroom, they shape real life and national conversations. While some see stronger enforcement, others see a need for clearer protections and balance. The truth lies in understanding both the legal ruling and its real-world impact. And right here, we break it down so you stay informed and don't be misled. If you value fact-based commentary, subscribe, share your thoughts respectfully, and stay informed. This video is intended for commentary, analysis, and educational discussion purposes only. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on your notification button. I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now.
That's the House. They just passed the Deporting Fraudsters Act of 2026. This is aimed at making non-citizens who commit fraud or exploit welfare systems such as SNAP or Social Security inadmissible and deportable. This legislation specifically targets identity theft and misuse of federal, state, or local benefits. Now, 186 Dems voted against this? Like, who will vote against an act like this where you're protecting taxpayers and the American citizens that really need these particular programs? Who will vote against this? And you're holding these undocumented immigrants accountable. So it goes on to say that it targets fraud focused on illegal immigrants who engage in fraud such as misrepresenting identity, stealing public benefits, or committing Social Security fraud. So this will automatically mandate that individuals found engaging in such fraud be declared inadmissible and removable from the U.S. immediately. Now, who will vote against this act?